Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is a scene for Secrets of the Golden Dawn, a Changeling 20th edition game set in New York City. Lady Greyhawk has recently arrived from Chicago to New York City, and she settled, which is of Count Dorian of House Gwydion. Uh, he invited the young Elunid to meet with him and basically just to greet her to his lands as is proper. And so Arya has been invited to where she learns the freehold is, which is the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens. So Arya is standing in front of, on kind of a sunny but cold day, in front of two steel with a leaf pattern kind of sloping gates. It doesn't look all that impressive. It doesn't look terrible, but that's where she finds herself.
Yes, so she isn't the happiest about meeting with the Count of House Gwydion, but she's going to anyway. Kind of looks at the entrance and just kind of shrugs her shoulders and it's like, whatever.
The person, when she goes to kind of handle admission, will kind of look at a list and then wave her through, saying it's okay.
She'll smile warmly and thank her and head on through.
They'll hand her like a park guide before she goes. When she opens it
I'll
up,
take it.
she'll see like a little X marking the spot where she's supposed to meet him. So when she looks up from the map, oh my! Can looks be deceiving?
Yep, she looks up, her jaw drops, like, oh. Oh.
A little chimerical, like a rabbit, basically, like kind of a chimerical bunny rabbit, will actually kind of hop over and inspect her. Kind of wiggling.
She'll,
It's very fluffy from snow and like from being winter.
yes. She'll smile down at the chimerical rabbit. She'll lean down to pet it.
It's so fucking soft she could die.
Come here, chimerical friend.
But it'll sniff her hand for a minute and kind of boop, 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 and then it'll bounce off.
Boop, boop.
And they're just it's a very chimera rich garden. There's a lot of chimerical plants and animals, basically like small animals, kind of darting about and flitting about in this garden. It seems to be a very strong bastion from banality. And the one thing that she would notice is it's comfortably warm here. And she notices that there are braziers every here and there bit, basically kind of lit with a very beautiful golden chimerical fire.
Ooh.
And she does notice at one point that there is a falcon sitting on a perch, and it'll kind of look over at her, not with like a cruel or anything, just a keen eye, and just kind of dip its head and kind of preen its wing.
She'll watch it for a moment.
It regards her and kind of shifts its wings. And then you notice it'll kind of like perk up and like flap its wings, like kind of stretch its wings, and it'll fly. And as she's nearing a lily pad pond near a building, she sees a man standing there. And the falcon will fly to him, and he'll smile and extend his arm. And it'll land on it. If there's anything that could be said about the Count, it's that he just looks very warm. He looks very, he has just a very kind face with kind of laugh lines at the corners of his eyes, and he's got kind of graying dark hair, and very brilliant emerald gold green eyes. He's wearing his chimerical vestments are basically like pants with a long coat over it, with stitchings of very, very dark green and gold around the edge, with vines kind of entwining with little animals all over it, and embroidery, and a fur kind of lined like brown, dark brown leather coat over the whole of it, with boots. His boots don't look overly shiny, actually. It looks like he's been, like, they're snow boots, and he's been walking around in them. And he has a chimerical sword at his side, but it's also peace-tied. And he'll smile at the falcon and kind of feed it a bit of flesh and pet it. And then he'll notice that Arya's there. And he'll kind of release the falcon and approach her.
She puts on a very polite smile.
Yeah, he'll extend a hand to her. Lady Greyhawk. And Count Dorian of House Gwydion.
She nods. She'll lightly shake his hand.
She notices that he won't go to kiss it or anything like that. He just gives her a very polite handshake. Not too firm, not too light. Just polite.
Excellent.
Did you find this place easy enough?
She nods. I did.
I've had enough people stroll into the zoo to know that it can be difficult sometimes. And he'll kind of point in the direction of the zoo across the street, and he'll say, "It's right over there."
She'll look.
Indeed. Across the way is the zoo.
There's a zoo.
There's red pandas in there! And a puka! It's a puka red panda! They think. God, they hope
They think.
They really hope he's a puka. If not, that's weird. But yeah, he'll politely just kind of fold his hands in front of himself. Well, formality's over. Good day. And he'll bow to her, and he'll smile as though he's joking.
She just looks at him curiously, like, what?
And he'll just laugh softly. I'm just kidding. And he'll motion her to follow him. He just starts walking.
And yes, she will follow after him.
How have you found New York?
It's I like it.
Have you been here before?
I've visited a few times, but not anything extended.
I'm not from here originally either.
No, I'm from Chicago.
Chicago. Big city. We're from Seattle originally. He'll look at her and smile. In the spring, the freehold is the cherry trees go into bloom. And they blanket this entire scape with beautiful flowers. And as much as I love the austerity and quietness of winter, I always look forward to the spring and what beauty it brings.
She nods. Spring is my mother's favorite season.
Fairhaven has always been a bastion of spring. He motions to the freehold. That's the name of the freehold, Fairhaven. We take a humble pride on the healing that can be found here. If one could couple the words humble and pride, kind of shake his head and like grin. Another little bunny will run up to her. It drops something at her feet.
She looks.
It's like a berry, like a little piece of fruit.
She'll pick it up.
It looks juicy for a winter fruit. And she can tell it smells like sweet.
Well, I can't refuse an offering from a bunny.
Smile.
Pop it in her mouth.
It tastes very good. It's a little berry fruit. The bunnies are where it's at. They know everything. They keep secrets. There are two children running about. One of them is a bunny. Miss Bailey. No wonder he's around. He'll kind of look. And he'll shake his head.
Puka?
Mm-hmm. Thankfully.
She smiles at that. He can tell that she has a fondness for Puka.
Him and his little friend are wards of the court. Little Allele boy. His name is Quinn. I help take care of them.
He nods.
And if the bunnies are about, he may be about too. Though I don't see him. I'll shrug. No matter. So what brought you here? I mean, obviously, other than probably Delta.
She smirks because she was actually about to say something like that.
Smile.
I don't fly Delta. I fly Southwest.
Oh, I'm so sorry to offend. Because we're Delta Airlines. And life is an effing nightmare. He'll say as he walks. pardon me. Often around children, I try not to use strong language. I said heck the other day, and one of the kids was like, "Ooh, Mr. Gray, you said heck." You should see me watching a Giants game. I'll shake his head. And he'll turn to her and like, let's not get into the Jets. He'll hold a hand up like, no, no, no. Just kidding. Jets.
Why you do this to me? Why? Why? I was waiting for it too. I'm like,
Why you might
gonna happen.
You might even hear a heck. You might hear a damn slip out if the Jets happen.
She'll feign surprise.
You know,
Oh
right?
my.
No.
I am a performer. And so I came here to pursue my career. Probably the same story you probably hear from a lot of people.
Quite a few. What do you perform?
Well, I'm an actress and a singer.
I know a singer. I mean, he actually does have some following.
Oh?
Mm-hmm. Him and his father. Well, he and his father and his uncle. His brow kind of knits in confusion. I'll shake his head. The important part of this is him and his father. His father and he. I'm a teacher. I should be able to do this. Anyway, he and his father are both in my protectorate. His name is Lynn. Not Lin-Manuel Miranda. Don't get excited. Don't. Oh no. Not that Lynn. I can't drop that name. Well, I mean, he shrugs like I could. Again, that humble thing. He'll scratch the back of his head like, humble.
So, one thing that I'd like to get into is historical acting, reenactments, things like that.
I can help you with that, actually. It's funny you should say that.
He blinks.
I have to contact one of my fellow counts, but yes. I'll nod.
She looks at him with cautious interest.
In Staten Island, there's a historical village, a historic Richmond town. It's a museum complex. It's large. They have reenactors. It closed down. The city closed down after, think for a moment and kind of. He doesn't like. He doesn't know like the back of his hand, so he's kind of thinking about it. He's like, it was a kind of think. I think the town. I know, like quote air quote. They died in the 50s, as it were. You know. And they basically saved it as a as a colonial and a historic town, the historical society. But the Countess of Staten Island, she helps to run it. And the village It's a museum, and it's supposed to make visitors feel like they're living in the 19th century. Basically, there's actors, and they, yeah,
So she's trying to hide it, but he's gonna see her entire face just light up. Like
his brows will go up, and he'll smile. Do you, do you want me to talk to her?
she nods. Yes, I would love that.
Sure. I don't know if they're hiring or anything, or if it's volunteers, but I can definitely ask. I've been out there a couple times. It's really nice. I mean, Staten Island isn't that far. You just be at the Verrazano. It's right there. I think we're like, seriously, I think we're not that far from it. I mean, I know everybody kind of forgets Staten Island. That's why they call it the Forgotten Island. But that's the name of the freehold, like the area in game.
Mm-hmm.
He'll pull his phone out and he'll tip it for a second, like tippy tippy tap 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 tap. He'll kind of look at her and tap tap tap. He'll smile at her. He's like, "You probably think I'm a boggin deep down, don't you?" He'll chuckle. He'll chew his lip.
The thought running through her head is this actually Gwydion? What the fuck?
And he'll look at it and he'll say, "Yeah, it's 35 minutes away by car. About 0 by transit," because he'll smile. There's no connections, but but if you can manage to steal a car, or catch a lift, or make a friend, or if you drive. I've lived here way too long. I assumed you didn't drive.
I don't know. There's not a whole lot of need for cars in Chicago either.
No, not here. There's 460 some odd MTA stations to make sure I never need to drive. I mean, I have a car, I have a license, I possess the ability to drive. I do have to do it sometimes when, like, picking kids up or something. I foster kids, so sometimes I have to go to the courts or emergency shelterings and get them.
That is she nods. That's wow.
But I was in financing. Okay. Started off on Wall Street, went to college, got my business degree, came down here, had a heart attack by 35. Okay. Realized I was doing all this. I was a hedge fund manager, and I was doing all this, and I thought I was doing good. I was so emboldened by my own pride and what I thought was the greater good, that I realized that at the end of the day, yeah, as much as I was giving to charities, and as much as I was trying to put back in the community, he'll air quote, I just I wasn't actually doing anything. I kind of woke up, and I turned around and I just made some smart investments. And I started up a couple of nonprofits, and actually ended up turning around and getting my teaching degree, so I could become a teacher. And yeah, that's what I do. I teach part time, and for this Montessori school, and well, shrug. And I mostly work the nonprofits. We do so when kids are in the system and they don't have access to like okay, so like let's say a kid goes into the system. Okay, their parents die, they're abused, something like that. They get taken out of their home. But between the point when the state can step in and basically, someone can access funds that are available to them. You know what I mean? Well, see, there's a monetary need in that place. So what the nonprofit does is that we give funds and sponsor children who don't have, I'll kind of scratch the back of his head, uh, need to be taken care of financially. I'll chew his lip. That all probably sounded really, I'll blush.
She nods and smiles.
He looks like he talked about himself a little too much and now is now embarrassed. But yeah, that's why I'm not a hedge fund manager, because life was hell.
She'll nod. It sounds like it, yeah.
No, it was constant, just constant. You go 24/7 on Wall Street. You're on the floor. Your numbers. It's all numbers. It's all, figuring out what's going to trade and where and who and what's going up and down. And capitalism run rampant, unregulated. It was crazy. I couldn't take it anymore. I was on the floor one day and I felt like I had gas. You know what I mean? Or like a heartburn.
She nods.
I woke up in the ER. Actually, no, I wasn't 35. I was 34. I was 34 years old. Half undone. I barely remember that time, honestly, as a no kind of motion, like she. I guess it was just a wake-up call,
She nods.
Worst part is half of my house was trying to pull me out of it. They were like, Dorian, God, what are you doing? You gonna kill yourself doing this? Or undo yourself? It's so far from what Falcon's banner flies over and under and what we do. It's not what we're about, I'll smile to her. Do you not talk very much, or am I talking too much?
She kind of thinks about that for a moment. No, I'm generally pretty quiet. Unless I don't quiet until I can't be quiet anymore, I suppose.
He'll crouch very quickly and like his hands snap out and he grabs something and picks it up and holds it to his chest, petting it. Found him.
Yeah, she would have taken a step back. Just the reaction of him moving so fast.
He actually did move really fast.
She would have taken a step back and went, "Oh my."
Smile. And he's holding a bunny to his chest. This is Bailey. And there is a really fucking adorable mini flop-eared lop in his like pressed to his chest.
She'll smile.
And it's like a kind of baby too. Like not a baby, but like a juvenile. So it's like, oh God. It's so fluffy. I'll kiss his nose.
He's adorable.
Until it takes his human form.
Shakes her head.
And he's outright cute. And the bunny will look at her with its nose wiggling. Here, I'll show you the bunny. This is the bunny.
Oh my god.
That is the bunny.
Oh. She's gonna approach.
It sniffs her. Sniff, sniff, sniff. Sniff, sniff,
Hold
sniff.
her hand out so it can sniff.
Boop, boop, boop. Boop. Lick, lick, lick.
Oh my god.
He'll press him to his chest again, and the little puka will wiggle and go people. I don't mind children, by the way, on screen. I don't care. Yeah, he'll wiggle, and he goes people and looks at her.
She'll smile at him. She'll say, "Hi, Bailey."
I'm not Bailey. You're Bailey. What's my name?
See, if I'm Bailey, then you must be Arya.
That's a beautiful name. And he lets himself fall back, and the count's like, whoa, wait. oh, buddy. He balances him like, I'm so glad I work out. You have a beautiful name. It's so nice.
She smiles.
And as he's kind of hanging upside down, he'll kind of look up at the count, and he's like, "Can we have Skittle soup for dinner?" And the count shakes his head like, "No, never." And he'll like pout his lip. Okay, what about Three Musketeer lasagna? And he'll shake his head. No, absolutely not. Fine.
Arya is cracking up because those two things sound very familiar to her.
And he's like, can we have Frito pie? And he starts to say no, and then he's like, actually, that's not okay. Yes, we can have.
That one's that one's good.
That one's sane. And he wiggles and almost falls. And the count's like, oh God. And he'll write him. He's like, okay, no, just stay like that. Okay, good. He'll smile at him. He'll kind of like press his forehead to the count's and like nuzzle him. And the count smile. And he'll look back at Arya. And he'll whisper something in the count's ear, and the count will blush.
Yeah, Arya's smiling. She's finally relaxed a little bit.
He'll kind of pet his head, and he's like, no. And he'll put him down, like, go away. Shoo. He'll catch him, and he'll be like, did you do your homework? And he's like, I don't have any homework. I have this many pages, and he'll hold up 10 fingers. He's like, oh God, do you need help with your homework? Yes. Okay. I'll help you with your homework after dinner. And he'll nod, and he'll bounce off with a running step, and he'll shake his head. I'm sorry.
No, you don't need to apologize at all.
There are 3 childlings in the care of the freehold right now. Buttercup, Quinn and Bailey. Bailey and Quinn are often together. Buttercup keeps to herself.
She nods.
Buttercup also, no matter how many times I or my he'll ponder for a moment. Because the word he doesn't want to use is service staff or help, but it's what he's thinking. But he can't say that.
Uh-huh.
Blink. Tilt his head. The house nanny. He'll smile. He got it. The nanny. No matter how many times we bathe her, she is always covered. And he'll put two fingers about an eighth of an inch apart. That much dirt or mud.
Hmm.
She's a little mutt puppy puka. And she's always covered in dirt and mud. And I don't know why. Look at his head. I have literally put her to bed, sat outside her door, waited, and woke up covered in mud.
Wow.
Have you ever heard that legend of the dancing sisters who would slip under the floor at night and walk through the garden?
Yes.
It reminded me of that. And she's this cute little curly blonde haired child, but you'd never know.
I was my mother is a cat puka.
I'll smile.
So I was raised by a puka. I speak it fluently. She nods.
He gets a small sad look. But he nods. I didn't know my mother.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. She gave me up for adoption when I was born. As I understand it, she was a statistic.
Hmm.
It was a close adoption. Well, more like a close surrender. I aged out of the system. I think that's why I try so hard now to help the youth in that situation, because I understand that if you give if you give young people something to apply their energy to, something positive, productive, they will. If you don't, well, that energy is going to go somewhere. And so you end up with violence. Just this hurt on a community. Because someone couldn't have the compassion to care for those who were most in need of it, you know?
She nods.
Are you busy?
She shakes her head. No.
There's a secret about the park. Not many people know it, but I do. Do you want to see?
Sure.
And he'll smile. We have to leave the gardens though and go into the actual park.
She'll nod.
I'm gonna walk with her. It's gonna be a little bit of a trek. Are you good? You're not cold in here or anything, are you?
He can tell that she looks pretty bundled up, boots on and everything. So, nope.
Does she have a scarf on?
Yep.
Okay. He'll slip his gloves on, and because they're going to be leaving the area where the fires are and things like that, and he'll slip his hat and his scarf on. It wasn't magnificently cold around. No, actually, it was around that time period. Oh my god, it was freaking ridiculous. Yeah, so he'll walk with her. Do you have any brothers or sisters? He'll smile and ask.
I have a sister. Her name is Miriam. I grew up in a polyamorous household. So Miriam and I have different mothers but the same father, but we grew up as one family. So I grew up with two mothers and a father.
He'll nod. It seems as though he doesn't like. You know when someone like doesn't quote unquote mind or care, but it doesn't seem like that's their way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. Like he didn't judge, but it's not something he seems familiar with. What was that like?
It was good. At least one parent was always home. So never had a need for really babysitters or anything like that. All three of them are Fae. My father is a count.
I've heard of your father.
And Summer, my other mom, is a Selkie.
Smile.
And my mom, Savannah, is Puka.
She wouldn't happen to be a Savannah cat, would she?
No.
We'll smile.
No, she's a big black cat, probably closer to a Norwegian forest cat.
Oh my.
Um
Are you okay?
yeah, sort of. I don't know.
You've just gotten so quiet.
It's just weird because my experiences with House Gwydion have not been very good ones.
How much experience with House Gwydion have you had? I know we don't have a presence in Chicago. The Elunid And he doesn't, by the way, say Elunid with any form of malice. The Elunid have always considered it a stronghold. And we've respected that.
Haven't met many, but the ones that I did weren't. And my father wasn't the fondest of them either, so.
Hopefully, we'll give you a reason to we'll think on what he's trying to say. She can tell he seems a little thoughtful.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we can give you a reason to like us.
She nods.
I'll smile. So, he'll make kind of little small talk with her for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And one thing he will show her as they're walking is they start to cross a bridge. And he'll point over at something. And he'll say, that is... And she can hear like the sound of water running. It's like that.
Oh.
And there's like waterfalls and all that. It's not quite so lush, but I can't find it in winter. Mm-hmm. But it's very pretty. It's something like the picture's not really conveying, but it's still very, very, very pretty. But what I really want
to show
is originally when Prospect Park was built, it's pastoral architecture. The reason that the park was built the way it was is so that it could reflect the rolling pastures of France and of Central Europe. When Prospect Park was built, he's walking her kind of on a ridge, as it were, to the ocean from the park. It was an award-winning view. Unfortunately, skyscrapers built up, and you can't see the view anymore, except, and he'll kind of lead her to a spot, when in winter, this one spot where normally there's a grove of trees that blocks it. And he'll stop and he'll kind of look out, and he'll position her right, and he'll kind of turn her, and he'll motion for her to look.
And she'll look.
It's kind of breathtaking. It's one of those things where you can see where you have to be standing at just the right spot, because if you were standing a little bit, like about 100 feet over, the buildings would like completely block the view.
Mm-hmm.
But where she's standing, it's literally just like you can see like the city and like south of Prospect Park, and like then the ocean, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, she gasps and her jaw drops. She's, wow.
I'll smile at her. I'm sure there's something very poignant and poetic that could be said about it, but I just tend to kind of enjoy it. When it comes springtime, when the trees grow back their leaves, you can't see it anymore. It's something that's only enjoyed for a small window during the winter.
It's a shame this is all that's left of it.
Yeah, but it's pretty much an act of terrorism to make it otherwise. Shake- It's just not. No, nope. It's not the
She,
best history either with this place. It's a really sore subject. Too soon. Right?
yeah. She nods like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's never not.
No.
Gilbert Gottfried, though. He gets a look on his face like, should I even say this?
Well, she has curiosity, so she has the flaw, not just the flaw itself, but the Ilunid curiosity flaw too. So
And
it's
then her
like,
mother was a cat puka. Oh, Lord.
exactly.
He'll slip his hands into his pockets and get a guilty look like, well, I said it.
She is looking at him expectantly, like, come on, tell
Oh,
me more.
you have to walk and talk. I have to move. You can't stand still while saying something like this.
Fine. She'll walk with him.
Gilbert Gottfried, right after 9/11, he, and you have to remember, I mean, this was huge. It's changed the scape of America. And no one wanted to touch it, obviously, comedian wise. No one wants to touch it. It was, I mean, pretty much everyone assumed it was going to be forever too soon, you know? And then Gilbert Gottfried at this roast gets up. That or they were doing the Aristocat. I don't know. But so he gets up and he says, get this. He says, sorry, I was running. Well, I can't do his voice because I don't think anybody but Gilbert Gottfried could do his voice.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
try. Do you want me to try? I can try.
She shakes her head. No, no, no. No, it's okay.
I don't think I can do it, and you'd probably never look at me the same if I could. He'll just shake his head. I really don't think I can.
She shakes her head. No.
But so Gilbert Gottfried is standing in front of all of these comedians at this event, and he says, it was in New York, and he says, "Sorry for the delay. My plane had a layover in the Empire State Building."
Oh.
And nobody laughed. Or if they did, a couple of
Oh.
just very uncomfortable chuckles. I'm dying now over it.
Oh, she.
But that being said, after that happened, people were able to joke about 9/11. So
Yeah.
it was a bit of a lancing the infection, but a layover
I
in the Empire State Building. It just
I was I was 9 when that happened. So
he blushes. Oh wow. It wasn't.
but I mean I remember it happening. I wasn't so young that I don't remember.
That was in the North Tower. That happened.
Oh.
No, no, no. Hey, it's okay. It was really surreal. I'll smile softly.
I can imagine.
Actually, a couple of months after that, I had my heart attack. Oh God, I just showed my age. Wow. A blush.
I can see why an event like that would pile on stress to cause a heart attack. Yeah.
Well, I think the hardest part about it was we didn't know what happened.
Hmm.
And actually, let me amend that. When I say I was in the North Tower, what I mean is that I was under the North Tower, actually. I was in the station. I'd just come into work. I'd been a little bit late. Hey, you probably don't want to hear this story.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I actually, came in a little bit late that day, and got into the station and got out, getting ready to go to my stop to go up the stairs, and the station went dark. I mean, dark, pitch black. Even the emergency lights didn't go on, and where I was, I couldn't. So when you're like thrown into the pitch blackness, you don't kind of know what's going on, all that, and you're really scared. And there's a bunch of noise. There's a lot of noise going on, and we couldn't get out. And the one thing that really stood out to us was that the smell of fuel was starting to choke us. The smell of fuel was starting to fill up the subway tunnels because it was all leaking down.
Nods.
It's all kind of a blur, but the cops get us out. Cops come in to get us out. And I walk through the plaza. There's papers raining down. There's people screaming. It was really bad. I start walking down the street, and they were basically encouraging people to either hit the ferries, because the ferries all just started taking people off the island, off the southern part of the island, or to go up towards Midtown. I started walking up Broadway, I think it was. I can't really remember. And I'm walking up. And as I'm walking, I hear this explosion behind me. And I can't even turn around to see what happened. Literally. And now we know what happened, you know? But at the time, I was just in so much shock, and I was so, wow, my head was spinning, and I was carrying a kid too. That was the other thing. I couldn't turn around. And so we made it to about, in the 20s block. I just collapsed. I just sat there, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know anything. And there were so many people hurt, and so many people afraid and in shock, and going through all that there wasn't even really medical attention to be had at the time. I mean, nobody knew what to do. It was complete pandemonium. And there was a dirt all over the place. There was not smoke, but from the buildings. I mean, it was smoke, but it was also like I don't know what you call it. You know what I mean? The dirt.
She nods. Yeah.
Covering everything. The ash and the dirt was covering everything. So I just sat there. Got up, and it was the damnedest thing, actually. I got up, and I walked a little bit more up, and I got this hot dog. Fished out some money and got a hot dog and a bottle of water from a guy. And I swear to God, I have not been able to eat hot dogs since then.
I don't blame you.
God, I'm sorry. That was really heavy. Chew his lip. I don't really talk about that, actually. I haven't really been able to. I mean, I can go in high buildings, I don't really like to.
I don't blame you there either.
You get anxious. I think just the one thing about that really stood out to me at the end of the day was, what can you do? I think what snapped in my head, what made me wake up was what could I do to be the kind of person where when something like that happened, made things better for other people. Yeah, I was so, I mean, God, fuck. Oh, actually, he didn't curse. I'm sorry, he doesn't curse very much. He said, "God, I mean, he was a knight of House Gwydion at the time, and I just shake his head. It did nothing that day to live in Falcon's wings. I just I'll shrug. So I guess it was kind of my wake up call to just kind of realize what can I do to not to be a hero. That's not what it's about, but to be a helper. You know, I'll smile softly.
She nods. I do understand that.
Well, there's enough heroes. We need a few more helpers.
She nods in agreement.
So I hate hot dogs, but I like chicken on a stick. Then he'll point at the cart and smile. You want a chicken on the stick?
Sure. I will take a chicken on the stick.
I'll buy 2 of them and 2 Pepsis. Because fuck Coke, apparently. Get enough Coke when he's on Wall Street, no more. He doesn't need that in his life anymore.
Right? God.
I'll hand her the cheeky on a stick and the Pepsi and sit down with her on a bench.
She'll take them. Thank you.
No problem. What do you think of that debate people are having about no problem, you're welcome?
I think that it's trivial to make a big deal out of whether you say you're welcome or no problem.
I think there's an inherent problem with you're welcome. I mean, break down the words, you're welcome. What are you saying?
You are welcome. I guess that is a little backwards.
Well, what you're implying, the implication is that what you're saying is that you've performed a service for somebody, you've done something for them, and what you're saying by saying you're welcome is that they are welcome to your services. It doesn't close the social contract to say you're welcome. Now, if they are welcome to your services in the future, we'll hold his hands up, I guess, whatever. But it also leaves open an unspoken obligation that in the future, the person is welcome to your hospitality.
She nods. That makes sense.
So I think that's why people are trying to move away from it. I say no problem. Unless I'm at one of those, kind of like motion, like hoity-toity things. Then I obviously say, you are most welcome, you're great. I'll give an elegant bow, like sitting down.
I do the same thing.
Oh, when we have to put on our noblesse oblige voices.
Yes.
Like destiny. Yes. Dynasty. Look, I'm going to be straight up. Any man who says dynasty that isn't from England needs to shut up. snip his Pepsi. Like, this fucking malarkey needs to stop. Like, I'm a Gwydion, okay? I'm aware of the things that sometimes people say about us. I'm aware of how sometimes young Gwydion can behave. As much as I try my hardest to work it out of him. And I
She
swear.
just kind of nods her head like, yeah.
Oh, shake his head. It's a mark every time I hear one of them say dynasty.
If I ever, I won't be able to keep a straight face now.
Yes. Snap his fingers.
She blinks. Like, did that just happen?
You gotta especially love it in the way they commit so hard to saying dynasty that the bottom lip doesn't move and it covers their bottom teeth and it just looks like they're smelling. It's great.
Oh my goodness.
Lady Greyhawk.
Just smile.
Have you seen Hamilton?
Not yet.
Would you like to?
Sure.
Okay. I'll see if I can take out a second mortgage, sell off my kidney, and get some tickets.
She'll nod.
I'll just call Lynn up. Oh, hey. Shake its head. Well. I should be going.
Yes, I'm sure you're very busy being a count and all.
My wife is probably wondering where I am.
She'll nod.
He watches her for a second. Oh, actually, I'm gonna roll his. I'm gonna roll something. We
Yeah,
have dice we can roll.
I was gonna say you can roll dice to figure that out.
So let me get this straight. You want me to roll his perception and empathy?
Yeah, just do it. Just do it. Whatever. Just do it. Roll that shit.
You fucking whore. Thank you. Jesus Christ. When I'm playing this character, I have to curse so much out of game. 3 successes.
So, when he mentioned wife, he will see this just very slight hint of disappointment come across her face.
He grins.
Very slight.
He grins and his brow goes up. Oh. Oh,
She looks at him and says, "What?"
Well, your reaction.
What reaction?
The one to my non-existent wife.
He blushes blushes a little bit. Well, it was very nice to meet you, and
You will leave in, and if he were not comfortable with her, he wouldn't even begin. But he'll lean into her ear and he'll bring his lips to her ear. What? Does it surprise the Elunid that the Gwydion can play her games? And he'll bite his lip and go back.
She shakes her head.
Welcome, Sarah County. Welcome to the kingdom. I'll call you about Hamilton.
Thank you. Sounds good. I look forward to it.
And he'll give her a little bow.
She'll give him a curtsy.
Dynasty. And he'll walk back.
She cracks up laughing.
And with that, I think we can end.
Yep.
Thank you, players, for playing, and thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been seen for the Dynasty of the Golden Dawn. Bye!